Chapter 6, text number 10. Creation of the universal form. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Smaran Vishva Srijam Isho Vigyapitam Adokshaja Virajam Atapat Svena Tejashasham Vivrittaye Smaran Vishvasrijam Isho Vigyapitam Adokshaja Virajam Atapat Svena Tejashasham Vivrittaye Smaran Vishvasrijam Isho Vigyapitam Adokshaja Virajam Atapat Svena Tejashasham Vivrittaye Smaran Vishvam Sujaya Smaran Vishvasrajamesho Vigyapitam Virajamatapat Svena Vedashasham Vivrittaye. Smaran, remembering, Vishvasrajam, of the demigods entrusted with the task of cosmic construction. Isha, the Supreme Lord, Vigyapitam, as he was prayed for, Adokshaja, the transcendence, Virajam, the gigantic universal form, Atapat, considered thus, Svena, by his own, Tejasa, energy, Esham, for them, Vivittaye, for understanding. Translation, purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Supreme Lord is the super soul of all the demigods, entrusted with the task of constructing the cosmic manifestation. Being thus prayed to by the demigods, he thought to himself, and thus manifest the gigantic form for their understanding. Please repeat. The Supreme Lord is the super soul of all the demigods, entrusted with the task of constructing the cosmic manifestation. Being thus prayed to by the demigods, he thought to himself, and thus manifested the gigantic form for their understanding. Purport. The impersonalists are captivated by the gigantic universal form of the Supreme. They think that the control behind this gigantic manifestation is imagination. Intelligent persons, however, can estimate the value of the cause by observing the wonders of the effects. For example, the individual human body does not develop from the womb of the mother independently, but because the living entity, the soul, is within the body. Without the living entity, the material body cannot automatically take shape or develop. When any material object displays development, it must be understood that there is a spiritual soul within the manifestation. The gigantic universe has developed gradually, just as the body of a child develops. The conception that the transcendence enters within the universe is therefore logical. As a materialist cannot find the soul and the supersoul within the heart, similarly, for want of sufficient knowledge, they cannot see that the Supreme Soul is the cause of the universe. The Lord is therefore described in the Vedic language as Avan Manasa Gochara, beyond the conception of words and minds. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, the mental speculators try to bring the Supreme within the purview of words and minds, but the Lord refuses to be so intelligible. The speculator has no adequate words or mind to gauge the infinity of the Lord. The Lord is called Adokshaja, or the person who is beyond perception by the blunt, limited potency of our senses. One cannot perceive the transcendental name or form of the Lord by mental speculation. The mundane PhDs are completely unable to speculate on the Supreme with their limited senses. Such attempts by the puffed up PhDs are compared to the philosophy of the frog in the well. The frog in the well was informed of the gigantic Pacific Ocean, and he began to puff himself up in order to understand or measure the length and breadth of the Pacific Ocean. Ultimately, the frog burst and died. The title PhD can also be interpreted as plow department, a title meant for the tillers in the paddy field. The attempts of the tillers in the paddy field to understand the cosmic manifestation and the cause behind such wonderful work can be compared to the endeavor of the frog in the well to calculate the measurement of the Pacific Ocean. The Lord can reveal himself only to a person who is submissive and who engages in his transcendental loving service. The demigods controlling the elements and ingredients of universal affairs prayed to the Lord for guidance, and thus he manifested his gigantic form, as he did at the request of Arjuna. Om Jnana Timdasya Gyananjana Shrakaya Chakshul Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauramani Pacharni Nirvishesha Shunnyavadi Vaschatya Desitarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So many wonderful points are there in this verse and the purport. This whole section of the Bhagavatam, this chapter in third canto, is entitled Creation of the Universal Form. So, what does that mean for us, universal form? Because it's not something that we are privy to this vision. It's like here, the demigods, they prayed for guidance from the Lord, and he revealed his universal form. Arjuna, when he is fighting on the battlefield, then as part of their lila, Arjuna is eternal associate with the Lord. His leelas are all in the material universes. As we understand, whatever moment we are experiencing in this universe, there's countless universes, that exact moment, next moment is in some other universe. So whatever pastime is going on between the Lord, and for example, Arjuna, that same pastime is repeating in another universe, uh, just moments of separation. So, so these eternal pastimes are going on in all the universes, and just Prabhupada explains that just like the sun is rising here, similarly the sun is rising slightly separated in timing in another universe at the same time. So Arjuna is, and the Pandavas, all these leelas, we experienced them on this planet 5,000 years ago. But as soon as a certain pastime is over in this universe, it is going on in another universe. These are very expansive things to understand with our very limited mind. Very expansive things. How to understand the concept of unlimited universes. Countless universes are there. And we are here in this smallest of all universes. Our chief officers of the universe are Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. So Brahma in this universe is only 4 heads. We know the pastime that Lord Brahma, he goes to see Lord Vishnu, and when he comes there, he says, please let the Lord know that Brahma has come. So then he's told to wait, and he's the principal demigod. So then he's asked after a short wait, which Lord Brahma you are? So Lord Brahma is thinking, oh, which Lord Brahma? I am the Lord Brahma. This is defect in each one of us. We think that we are so important, and that's part of our natural conditioned consciousness. We think we're so important. If you went, for example, to see some friend of yours, and you were told to wait outside, and you said, please tell so-and-so that my name, Das, I have come to see him. And then you get the message from your friend saying, which Das? There's so many Dases with this name, so which Das you are? So we'll feel bewildered. What do you mean? He's my friend, he knows me, I've come to see him, and now he's saying, which Das you are? So that means there's more than one person like me? The truth is yes. I'm not the only one with this name or this situation, or I'm just one of countless living entities. So then Lord Brahma goes, he's invited inside in front of Lord Vishnu in his court, and when he goes in, then he sees, what does he see? You all know, right? Somebody say? He sees so many Brahmas, countless, he cannot even count. And they're all putting their helmet down on the floor, and all this sound is coming from the helmet striking the floor. And he's looking, and there's no limit to how many Brahmas there are. So he's completely shocked. So, but he had to go through that stage of that misconception that I am the only Brahma. But then he's woken up by the Lord and by that pastime to understand that you are one of countless Brahmas. So he realizes his insignificance. For us to realize our insignificance, is a very great achievement. Because normally, we are conditioned to think of how significant we are. Yesterday, I was saying that pauper is proud of his penny, but we are all conditioned and proud in different ways. We're thinking that something very special about me. I get a little knowledge and I think, oh, I know so much. I hardly know anything, but I'm thinking I know so much. We get a little wealth and I'm thinking, oh, I have so much wealth. Almost we have nothing. I get a little fame and I think, oh, I'm so famous. We get some recognition and we think, oh, I have now been recognized as somebody very special. I give some talk and I'm so impressed by my own talk. I speak so wonderfully. I lead some kirtan and I'm thinking, oh, such a nice kirtan I can lead. So, and I may do some as Lord Brahma, I may be in charge of some project, some construction, as the demigods here are. It is described that they are given the assignment to construct the universe. So they can become very proud. Oh, I'm constructing this universe. But so many universes are being constructed, countless. And there's, yesterday somebody said there's 3 crore devatas, but in other places it is written 33 crores. So I don't know if it was a transcription issue or what. I'm sure it'll be resolved. Many devotees are working on correcting no mistakes. There's amongst our God brothers in the US who are working on making sure Prabhupada's books do not get contaminated or adulterated or modified by people with other desires. So they have this saying, no changes, no mistakes, which is what Prabhupada wanted. No changes to his books, but also no mistakes. So everything is being corrupted, but everything is being also corrected. So that is going on. Yesterday, this was a very important realization, the way it was presented to me in some meetings I was having with somebody, that the pastimes of the Lord, or the pastimes of the devotees of the Lord, like Ramachandra or Lord Krishna or Nishingadev we have here, the pastimes of the Lord in this material creation cannot be completed without the involvement of the enemies of the Lord. Cannot be completed. So, Lord Ramachandra's pastimes cannot be understood without Ravana's presence. Lord Krishna's pastimes cannot be understood without the presence of the asuras, Kamsa, Putana, all the other asuras that we read about or we hear about in the historical scriptures. Prabhupada's pastimes cannot be understood without the appearance of his enemies. Cannot be understood. And how do the enemies come? In this avatar of Mahaprabhu, the enemies come disguised as devotees. Because Mahaprabhu's mission is that of disguise. He's disguising himself as Vaishnava devotee. So the demons also, asuras, they must come also disguised as devotees. So maybe I'm a demon, you don't know. I may be disguised, you may have no idea what my agenda is. My agenda is to destroy or obstruct or create big problems in the mission of the Lord. But because I'm disguised with this name and this dhoti and kurta, you don't really know what I really am inside my consciousness. You see? And similarly, we don't know. But we know that Prabhupada said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in other places, that there's many envious people in the garb of Vaishnavas in this Krishna consciousness movement. Many envious people in the garb of Vaishnavas in this Krishna consciousness movement. So these envious people, they must be there. We cannot become disturbed by it. They must be there because the glories of Srila Prabhupada cannot be understood without the involvement of these enemies. Hard to understand these things. But this is the reality. This is the reality. So then it is explained that although the mission of the Lord, mission of the acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, the obstacles come, the obstacles must come, and the obstacles must be dealt with. We don't have a choice. And then the real glories of the Lord or Srila Prabhupada, they become revealed. And the devotees, they come out successful. But this struggle must be there. We see that in what we're reading today. So many pastimes of demigods. So many fights they're having with the demigods, always fighting with who? The asuras, the demons. Always it is going on. So we see it again and again and again and again. So why we should be surprised when this happens? So also in this age of Kali, just like we're reading about the demigods and their duty that is given to them. What it is now? Time? 8:30. Okay. So I lost my train of thought when I asked for time. So the glories of Srila Prabhupada, they will expand like we have no idea. We think that, we say every morning, may your fame, after Guru Puja, part of Guru, your fame be spread all over the world. That is actually the truth. Prabhupada's fame will be known to every person on this planet. And every person on the planet will become, not only Prabhupada's fame will be known, because Krishna will make sure it happens. We are only instruments. Krishna will make sure it happens. We have to do our part. Just like we have, so fortunate, you have Hanuman here. So Hanuman fights for Lord Ramachandra, and all the soldiers are monkeys. No? So we can be monkeys. We can be the monkeys to help Hanuman fight for the Lord. And actually, one of the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada is explained, this is revealed that the fight will include fighting with the Ravanas, and the fight will be done by Hanuman and the monkey soldiers. So we can volunteer. Let me be monkey soldier for you, Srila Prabhupada. So his fame will be spread all over the world. He'll be known. But not only that, all the people in the world will be grateful to him, and they will glorify Srila Prabhupada. Because there's no other acharya like him in recent times, and will not be for thousands of years. So this is not some ordinary appearance of the representative of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada is the Commander General of Mahaprabhu's army, and this is just the beginning of his glory spreading all over the world. So we have to learn to do our part, and these envious people, as Prabhupada says, Garba Vaishnavas in this Krishna conscious movement, they will come. So whether it's I'm the envious person or somebody else, you have to be intelligent to understand who the other people are. understand yourselves and understand others. So, another important point is that in this age of Kali, see, in previous ages, the Devas and Asuras, they had different bodies. At one time, the different planets. Asuras, some planets, Devas, other planets. Then different yugas, you have Asuras in one family, like the Kurus, and then the Devas in another family, Pandavas, right? It was clear. In this age, the demoniac tendencies are in each one of us. So we have both, each one of us, we've got divine qualities, but we also have demoniac qualities right within these bodies, this mind, this consciousness. So we have to purify ourselves, because somebody was asking about doubts and temptations. Yes, they must be there within our bodies, because all the demonic tendencies are there within our minds, our consciousness, our bodies. So we must know how to remove them from our lives. That is what purification is. It is important to note that we must possess these, this is foolishness to think that we do not possess these demoniac, asuric tendencies. It's foolish to think like that. Better to be truthful and realistic that these demoniac tendencies, these asuric qualities, these bad qualities, yes, they are part of us. But fortunately, we've got the method to remove. And that's what is called purification. Therefore, even this chanting of the Mahamantra, as all of you are hearing again and again about the importance of hearing and chanting, we must go through the 3 stages of chanting the holy name. We cannot simply be at the pure stage. It does not happen. Even we chant in the best way possible, hearing carefully, chanting very carefully, avoiding the offenses. But we must go through the offensive stage. Cannot be avoided, because offenses are there in our lives because we have offensive qualities. We are not pure devotees. Didn't start out like that. So then from the offensive stage will come the clearing stage. We begin to see the sun is rising, and yes, some qualities that I had before that were clearly not divine qualities now are starting to reduce, and then they go away. Chanting becomes more ecstatic, more wonderful. I attached to the chanting, I attracted by the chanting more and more. And then as you go through that stage, different levels within the clearing stage, then we begin to come into the pure stage of chanting, which is a whole different experience. So if we understand, Prabhupada calls this a scientific systematic process. If you understand how the science works, then we will not be discouraged. We simply understand, yes, it is required, the stage. It's like in a disease condition. Disease, you cannot just simply, the disease has taken so many weeks and months or years to develop. Disease cannot just go away in one night. It takes time for the disease to go away. So we must understand it's a scientific process, and but it's guaranteed to work. It works every time it is used, and we're guaranteed to get the ultimate result of complete purification, complete pure chanting of the holy name of the Lord, understanding our real eternal spiritual forms, understanding the separation of that identity from the subtle covering of this mind, intelligence, ego, and then the gross covering of this material body made of 5 elements. All these things come in stages. So I'll stop. Any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, in this purport last, it is said, no, Prabhu, that one, the universal form requested by demigods, it is as requested by Arjuna. So that this universal form is same in both the cases, that what Arjuna has seen and what these demigods are requested to be seen.
I was not able to witness both the times. So unfortunately, I did not see either time. So, but I can only repeat to you what I'm hearing here, that both cases, Prabhupada is saying it is universal form. He's indicating that they're the same or something like that. So that's the best we can understand. At least I can understand with my limited brain. But our Yuga Dharma is not to go out on a march to look for the universal form. That is not our Dharma, no? We are not going on pilgrimage or yatras to find the universal form. Our Yuga Dharma is Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Kevalam, and to follow the Acharya for this age, Srila Prabhupada. The avatar for the age is Mahaprabhu, but the Acharya for this age now, representing Mahaprabhu, is Srila Prabhupada. So we just follow him.
Hare Krishna, as you are mentioning that without enemies or inimical presence, that Lord's or Lord's devotees' glories will not be fully manifested like that.
Yes.
But in our, that for sadhakas, no, like that, so unless we are strong, we cannot face whether enemies inside or outside. Right. So how you can clarify that point?
How to get strength and then keep strength and increase.
Yeah, enemies within and enemies outside.
99% of all strength, all advancement comes from association. 99%, Prabhupada said in many places. So associating with honest, sincere, it is said here, the Lord reveals himself only to a person who is submissive and who engages in his transcendental loving service. So we cannot be, we have to be submissive, humble, wanting to serve the Lord, and have no hidden agenda. As I said earlier, Prabhupada said, many envious people in the garb of Vaishnavas in this Krishna consciousness movement. It took a long time for me to actually understand that, and I have to question myself, am I one of those envious people? Maybe I am. So, association with sincere devotees who are following Srila Prabhupada without deviation, without deception, without fraud, without personal agendas, without personal motivation. Prabhupada said many times, personal motivation spoils everything. So that association with the right devotees is the key to becoming strong, remaining strong, and becoming even stronger. So we have to stick together, and there will be some rough edges. Again, we all have impurities, no? So not only within myself, impurities will also appear up in our relationships, in our interaction with other people. We have to understand that these impurities will go away. This roughness will go away. Must stick to this association and to the process.
Thank you, Harish. One more thing, bro. As you are telling about that association, so would like to know that some memorable interactions of association with Srila Prabhupada with yourself.
Srila Prabhupada got angry with me. One time. Because 3 times I had the good fortune of meeting with him only alone. Only I was there with him. And 3 times I said something about, because this body birth was in North India, in Delhi. So other devotees would tell me, you come back to Delhi and you preach here, help with the. So I asked Prabhupada 3 different times, I want to give up my stay in the West. I want to go back to India and serve you there. And Prabhupada each time said, first time he said, no, I want you to stay in the West and not go to India. So again, I thought in some other way to ask him another time. So he said, I have told you before, I want you to stay in the West. So then, third time in Vrindavan, he called me down. This is very interesting. At 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning, somebody is knocking on my door saying that in the guest house in Krishna Balaram Mandir, Prabhupada wants to see you. And Prabhupada could have seen me any time. Why is somebody knocking at 1 o'clock in the morning to wake me up? So I go down to Prabhupada's quarters. Prabhupada is sitting on his desk. He's fully awake, fully, engaged in his divine Leela and service. So I go in and only I'm there, and he says, so I hear that you are again saying that you want to come to India. You want to give up your situation in the West, come to India. So I said to him, devotees, I said, I'll do whatever you want, Srila Prabhupada, but other devotees are saying, senior devotees, that actually you want me to come to India. That it's only my lack of surrender that I am not agreeing to come to India. So I told Prabhupada like that, which is the truth, because one local GBC had said, Prabhupada is testing you. He wants you to actually come to India, but he's testing you, and when you agree to surrender, then he will reveal his true desire for you. So I said it like that. So but that GBC was actually misrepresenting Prabhupada. So Prabhupada looked at me and he got angry and he said, I've told you 3 times, I want you to stay in the West, and I'm telling you again, he was angry, that you are to stay in the West and not come here. So that's one interaction with him. So 2 lessons I learned. Once Prabhupada says something, that's enough. You don't have to think of asking the same thing in different language or different words or different angle, You can ask the same thing in different angle. But when Prabhupada is given clear instruction, you just follow. So he's given this process to us, we just follow it. And the second thing is that, what I said, association. Must associate with people who are strictly, obediently, submissively following Srila Prabhupada with no other agenda. And 3 times Prabhupada told me, I won't tell you the other times today, 3 times Prabhupada told me that I must follow him and his orders and not the orders of the GBC. 3 times he told me, GBC you will not follow. I'm talking about the other GBC now. You will follow only me. So that is our commitment, to follow Srila Prabhupada only, and those who are following him only.
There is a GBC in our the ISKCON Bangalore group, and that GBC is trying to follow Prabhupada's orders.
Yes.
And then they in turn give some directions to the movement. So how do the devotees take that?
That is perfect, because the GBC is meant to follow and execute Prabhupada's will and not deceive, manipulate, change, cover up. So many things can be done if the agenda is the agenda of the envious Ravana camp, as Prabhupada has used that kind of word. So the GBC must be there, some system of authority. The key is to follow Srila Prabhupada's orders. So the devotees should not follow blindly. They should know what Prabhupada's orders are, and they should be able to see that the GBC is following Prabhupada's orders. So there is always the check and balance. Prabhupada didn't want us to be foolish followers, blind followers. So from the top to bottom, everybody should be following Prabhupada, and that's perfect. GBC, new devotee, temple president, pujaris, cooks, preachers. Doesn't make a difference what our service is. We all meant to follow Srila Prabhupada's directions. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133